we're going to discover whether or not you can make those little itty bitty teeny pots on a big giant pottery wheel. I've seen them all over YouTube and on the internet of people making these little teeny pots on these little teeny pottery wheels. Do you really need that little teeny pottery wheel to make that? We're going to find out. So here I am all by myself. I'm going to show you as best I can all the techniques and tricks and tips and whatever else is needed to know to make a little teeny little pot on a big giant pottery wheel. I filmed this once before and it didn't turn out very good because I found my hands were always hiding what was going on. So I'm going to try to get a little better angle. Get you slid in there really close. I don't want you to be like, what is he doing? Is he making something? And then boom, here my hands are moved and there's a little pot. Hopefully I'll be able to catch the best position for you to see my hands. So what I'd really like you to do is go ahead and give me a thumbs up and share this with your neighbors. Share one of my shorts with your friends. Do something, but help spread the word. Help get it out there because I can use your support. And the more support I get, the closer I get to having that apprentice that can actually carry the camera around and get the very best shot. I feel like everyone should try to do it just at least once or twice because there's lots of things that you can do with this method. I'm going to be throwing it off the hump, which is something that it's where you center a whole bunch of clay and you just use the top of it. So there we go, let's start this. It's ready to center. We're gonna center this clay. Well, let me tell you a little bit about this clay I'm using. This clay, well, it's B-mix with grog is what it is. We like to call it poor man's porcelain. It's less expensive than porcelain, but it's got very fine particles. So it throws a little bit like porcelain. It's really a half and half mix. It's got a half stoneware and half porcelain involved in it. It's really creamy. It tends to come off on my hands a lot. One of the tricks to making really good mini pots is to keep your hands as clean as possible. I'm going to use this part right here. I'm going to put in a little dent. Then I'm going to put a little pressure on the outside. I'm going to drag that up. But you can already see the top is off. It doesn't matter because I'm going to chop that top off later. All right, there it is. I'm going to come down here. And I'm going to form the bottom of this. And then I'm going to take my fingers on the back side, my finger on this side, and I'm going to push it inward. As I push that inward, it squeezes that clay in. I get kind of a funky top. See that funky top? Take my needle tool. I'm just going to finger clean. Chop off the funky top. There we are. Let's make a long neck one. Long neck genie bottle mini pot. Just like when I'm doing the real ones, the big ones, you got to be a little careful that you do it slowly, bring it in slowly. I'm scraping it with my fingernail instead of a rib because I just don't have that small enough rib for this. Let's see if I can make a really, really, really teeny one. Some people ask, what happens though? What happens if you were to make this hole right here go down too far, and then when you made your mini pot, it had a hole in the bottom. Then you chopped it off, not where the clay is, but we're going to talk about your options. So I think it opens a whole new door to something that you've never maybe thought of with these guys, these little mini pots. A whole new concept. I'm going to chop it off. Oh, look at that. It goes all the way through now. So do I keep it? Yeah, I keep it. I keep it because that right there is now not just a mini pot, but it's a mini pot bead. And now all of a sudden, instead of making just mini pots, I'm making jewelry. Bonus. Okay, so I have these mini pots that I made earlier. I have 5 of them. They're right here. They're ready for me to finish them. As you can see, they don't stand straight. They're all crooked, a little wonky. So what we're gonna do is I usually just take a sandpaper, grab it. This is how I trim them. I trim them all dry. I'll do this until they look like they're standing straight to me. There we go. I'm going to finish those bottoms and make them look really nice. I'm going to do that with this, a sponge. So I'm just going to grab that and go. Look at that. It makes a nice rounded bottom. There we go. That finishes them up really nice. So there we go. That's how you finish a mini pot. Now all I've got to do is glaze them. So I have a bowl full of mini pots that are all been bisque fired and they're ready to go. I'm going to take these little guys. I'm going to take these guys and I'm going to dip them in a glaze. Now I still dip my mini pots. So how do you do that without putting your fingers on both sides of it? You can't clamp them with a glaze dipping tool. So what I did is I made this. See that? What this is it's one wire that I bent up, looped it around, bent it up a little bit, looped it around, cut it off so it can fit in between my fingers like that. What I do with that long part is I put that inside there and I put my thumb on the bottom. And this is okay because guess what? You don't want glaze on the bottom of your mini pot because it will melt down to the kiln shelf, especially if you're using stoneware. If this is an earthenware pot that you're made, then you probably want to glaze it all the way around and I don't know, use some kind of probably fire it like that on a bead rack or something. But for this, I'm going to just put that in there, put my thumb in it, boom, covers the bottom. I'm going to take it over to my glaze and I'm going to dip that in. There it is. all glazed.